Robin's announcement was not the reason I was in a bad place that day. There's been a lot for me of changes culturally and everything with the move. I mean, my world is upside down. Well, I mean, I'm no longer working. We are living with finite resources at this point. I've always identified with my career. So that's a big part of my identity and has been for a long time.
Hey you guys, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a great day. It is Monday, July 19th, and we have an update on the Sister Wives. So Janelle Brown recently moved out onto some property because her house sold, and because the housing market in Flagstaff is really tight and it's hard to find any sort of rentals, she decided that she was going to be buying a RV. Initially, there was a lot of questions about what this would mean and does she have utilities? How is she going to manage this? What's going to happen to the kids? And during the last few weeks, Janelle has been sharing her story of living off the grid. So when she announced everything about moving on to Coyote Pass, she said this on Instagram. So I have something fun to share. I acted boldly and seized an adventure. The rental where I was living was sold and I chose an alternative path to trying to find another rental. Not only is the housing market in Flagstaff as crazy as where you are, I'm sure, rentals are even harder to come by. Presenting my new summer adventure, the RV life, but camped out on our property. Lots to do here on the land, so I figured why not do this on site. Honestly, I'm alternating between extreme excitement as far as I've always wanted to try this and anxiety at all the unknown variables. So once she posted that, there was a lot of questions like, oh my gosh, why are you living in an RV? Is Kody making you do this? Like, Kody favors Robin. He got her a big house and he got you an RV. Like, you are getting screwed, okay? And she was trying to calm the waters and say that this was kind of like her decision. But she also shared other things that she was doing, like spending time with her kids. And something simple like having a picnic. So she shared a picnic bench which said this: set up the picnic table so it's in the evening shade of the RV, dining al fresco and stargazing on the menu tonight if the clouds cooperate. And then she and Kody had a date night. So she and Kody stargazed and had a picnic dinner at the RV. She's also been sharing photos of wildlife and all of the fun things that she's been looking at. So she shared this photo and says, sorry it's blurry, but I had to take a photo through the screen because I knew I would spook my new neighbors when I opened the door. There's a herd of at least 30 elk that graze all around my RV, often right outside the front door in the morning. I try and hold off going out with the dogs as long as I can because I love watching them. So then she shared a bunch of elk photos and they were definitely grazing on her property. She also shared photos of beautiful flowers, and in that photo, someone asked her, are you planning a garden on the property now that you've moved? I know how much you loved to garden last summer. And she says, we have a well actually. So apparently on this property, she has a well. So there was a lot of questions about whether or not she was going to be having to bring water in. So it sounds like they have well water that she was able to hook everything up. But one thing she was doing was telling people how she's managing the power and all of that with being off grid. And it was on this post, it was on a post about living off grid that she got a little sassy. And this is what she said. Many of you have asked about utilities and I'm currently living off grid. Boondocking or dry camping, some of you call it. But before some of you get your panties in a twist, I'm fine. It's part of the process. But a battery upgrade was in order and it's done. Huge upgrade and improvement in storage and time between generator runs, especially with increasing solar panel count as well. So for those of you wondering what she's doing for power, she is apparently using a generator. Not the most efficient way, but it's better than nothing. And because she has absolutely no utilities and only has a well for water, that's going to be about the only way that she's going to get electricity. And I'm assuming she's going to have battery chargers. And I don't really know a whole lot about how generators work, but you know, it's Janelle and she claims to be fine. Now, somebody actually on this post got kind of snarky with her, and this is what they said. I'm a little disturbed that your husband would just sit there and let you live like that. I realize that you chose to do things like this way, but there's no way in hell I would let things get to the point where my wife would have to live out of a camper. Yikes. Even if she said it was fine, I would feel awful. I mean, if it was for a week, that's one thing, but to live like that, you are strong, I'm sure, and will make it through just fine, but you shouldn't have to live like that with such a close family. Where are all your wives? You guys are so confusing. I spent all of these years on TV fighting and preaching about how your lifestyle was so great and full of love, but you have to know, we can tell y'all dislike each other. Now you are basically homeless. I get that it's comfortable for you, but it really looks bad from the outside. This is how Janelle responded. My husband didn't do anything. I chose this. I'm shocked that you would think I'm some sort of a meek, mild person that can be told to do anything that I don't agree to. I'm sorry you are so short-sighted and want to make rude comments from behind your keyboard. So Janelle clapped back and got really strong at that person. So here's the thing. I actually understand where she's coming from because she says this is her idea and this is what she wants to do. But I also understand the point of view of the person that left the comment. While not in the best taste and obviously a little bit assertive and also a little bit cruel in terms of like, there was a lot of softer ways she could have said that, like making things like, why can't you live with this person, or asking open-ended questions to make Janelle feel safe. But instead, the troll or the person that made the comment instead wanted to just make Janelle kind of like, I don't know, she maybe didn't even think Janelle would respond. And I think a lot of times when people make those kinds of comments, they don't think anyone's going to respond. But it's true. If you have lived your life trying to have this lifestyle and you have been pontificating to the masses about the benefits of working and living in polygamy, and you are literally living in a camper on property on an RV while all of your other sister wives have homes over their heads, and your youngest sister wife is living in a $900,000 home and you're literally in a camper, something doesn't smell right here. And the fact that they never interact on social media, they don't hang out together, none of that's a lie. So if this is what she chose, that's one thing, but it doesn't discount the fact that there are a lot of questions here. Like, why would Kody be okay with this? Why would Kody be like not doing more? Well, maybe it's true. Maybe they don't have the property. Maybe Kody isn't invested. Maybe Janelle is just really that determined to live like this. And honestly, she talked last season about wanting to go in an RV and be able to travel and be more portable. She and Kody joked about how they were at like different points in their lives, how she is sort of like entering the empty nest phase and he's sort of like still got young kids with Robin. And so they have like differing lifestyles because he's still got little kids, like a 3 and a 4-year-old, but then she's got, you know, a 17-year-old about to graduate high school and all of her kids are gone after that. So as she's entering a new phase in life, to me, if she's downsizing and she doesn't need a lot of space, that's one thing. If this is what she wants to do, that's great. But it's not a very good long-term solution. And I don't know how long this would work for in terms of like living in this camper for good. I don't know a lot about how long generators work. I don't know a lot about how much you can, even with a well, you have to deal with the sewage issue. So even though she has a well and she has running water per what she says, that doesn't necessarily mean that she doesn't have to deal with issues with sanitation. It doesn't mean that she doesn't have to deal with issues like if dealing with battery issues with the generator, dealing with, you know, there's just, you can generate solar energy, great, but you also are going to have to do other things in order to make sure the generator like lasts, and you're going to have to like be making trips back and forth. And even though it seems less expensive, it's going to have its own set of expenses because in a way you are living off grid. And in my estimation, how fair is that to the kids? Is, you know, even though this is what Janelle wanted, is this what Savannah wanted? Savannah's still in high school. Can you think of many high school kids that would literally be like, yes, mom, let's live in a camper? And I don't see a lot of photos of the kids being with her. So that makes me wonder, like, are the kids living with her in this RV, or have they moved out and are living with family? That's my biggest question. So one, I'm not upset that she got upset with the troll. I get it. I'm not upset that she clapped back at all. And I think when interacting with other people on their social media, you have to remember that anytime you leave a message like that, that you are trying to get a reaction out of them, it might elicit a strong, visceral reaction. If this is indeed her choice, it might be hard for her to hear criticism about that, and maybe she does feel a little sensitive about that, but also at the end of the day, if this is what she wants, this is what she wants, and it doesn't matter, right? My only concern is really how long this can last. Like, yes, this is an option for summer, but what are you gonna do for the winter? And what are you gonna do after that? And how long can you potentially live in an RV? At some point, you're gonna want and crave and need more space. She's the kind of person that likes to have gardens, and she likes to have like all of her stuff out. So I don't know how long this will work for her, and I don't see them doing any construction on the property. So it seems like it's like a very short-term solution for a more long-term problem. That's just my 2 cents. What do you think about her getting sassy? What do you think about that comment? Do you agree that this is a weird choice, or do you think, hey, to each their own, let her do what she wants to do? Tell me in the comments below. Bye, guys.